3, 2, 1. Hello everybody. Now I think this chapter is overloaded. I think it has more expressions than any before this one that I can remember. So you are supposed to have done it, you're supposed to have corrected it. So I'm not going to give you clues as I do in the I don't do it in the podcast anymore. Anyway, go ahead. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you've done it orally. Okay, this is what I tell you. I can't believe that some of you do this. You correct it, you revise it when you do this, and then you stay for the exam, and you get less than 50%. Or it's difficult to believe. Okay, so go ahead. Now I'll explain everything. You need a noun. Well, here it's not so clear you need a noun, but anyway, for there to be, para que haya, there is something, yes, because you may not have realized, but for there to be, para que haya, so you say our, gente. Okay, now, so betrayal, the noun, they would have to have been. This is the past infinitive. We've seen this very to have been. There needs to have been. There seems to have been. We've seen this. Okay, insisted, Hamish, no. You had it in the last exam, Unit 8. It's a matter of learning. I'm terribly sorry to tell you. It's a matter of learning from what we see. If you forget many of the things that have appeared and that I've insisted on, then when they appear, you won't know them. But there are things I can take responsibility for you not remembering or making a mistake, recording it or not recording it, and then making a mistake again. This already appeared. This is funny because this appeared with Peter, chapter 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know. Insisting I pay attention to him, something like that. Like he was leaning on the door, insisting I pay attention to him when they were going up to the terrace and they talked about how to die in the arena, something like that, I think. So that already appeared. Then it appeared in the exam, and only 1 or 2 got it well. So now it's appearing here again. Well, it's a matter of how many times you need to see something to remember. Okay? And starting practicing should help. Okay, on the one hand, okay, por una parte, sometimes you write on one hand. You may have seen it at high school. I've seen it perhaps once in my life in a text, but most of the times on the one hand. Relieved, this was in the B2 book. You have this. Okay, I will emphasize this. Be careful with the spelling. Relief and relieved. The verb is relieve, and this is like bought and so. The pretense. I wrote pretension, but it's wrong. It's a noun too, but it has other meanings. Okay, the pretense is la farsa. Okay, and pretension is you can have pretensions to the throne, no? Like you have a claim to the throne, so you have pretension. Or something else, like your intention, I think it said. So it's a noun, but I don't revise this. Okay, this I try to do it from what I remember from the previous year. Okay, so there are 3 I didn't get well. Okay, in all 3 cases the word I wrote was correct, but it wasn't the one in the book. Okay, so obviously another modifying the sentence at the beginning of the sentence followed by a comma, whatever thing connection. I used this last week in the questions for chapter 8. Whatever attention she had from the game makers, she had lost after she missed her first shot. Okay, whatever. It's like if there was a little bit, whatever, por pequeña que fuera. High time. Here I wrote about time. I didn't remember which one it was. It's about time and high time. Remember, it doesn't matter. It's about time. It's high time we did something. Ya es hora de que. This is like ya era hora in Spanish. Ya era hora and high time. About time. I think normally when you have it like this is about time. Anyway, it had something to do with. It had nothing to do with her illness. This was in Rebecca at the end. When she couldn't have babies, but it had nothing to do with her illness. She could never have had babies anyway. Okay. Now with my, this is again this use of this. Forgive my interrupting. This becomes a noun. The noun is ing. Like running is good for you. That running is a noun. So that's why you're making a noun. My outperforming you. Outperform is perform better than. It's like outshine, similar. out, like outperform, outplay. You can outplay the other team, play better. So outperform, perform better. This one better. We've seen this very often. Is essence, then essentially. The pronunciation changes. Essence, essentially. The T. We've seen this in the podcast recently. That's one. Get used to. And some of you, I appreciate it. Some of you try to use used to. Sometimes the problem is that very few students use it correctly. Get used to ing. This is using position. Okay, wobbling is wobbling, like a wobbly chair. Right? Que cojea, wobbly. So wobbly is like it's not steady. Okay, the opposite of steady. Steady is firme. Wobbly is that it moves about. Okay, next round. Sorry for talking so much. Well, this one was included. I mean, you saw this one before, but I didn't get to the answers, so it's okay. Try to do it carefully. And I'm going to give you the answers in 3, 2, 1. This is, I didn't remember the answer because it's always take out my anger on someone. See, take something out on someone. It doesn't. Sometimes it says, you can say at, but here it doesn't. So I mean, if it's in the book, it's correct. But I tried to remember this one because this I told you about this. Was it? Did I tell you in class last week? To take it, no, I tell my children, don't take it out on the other one. No? When we tell them off and then they take it out, they are angry and they take it out on their brother or sister. So anyway, okay, try to do it. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. Make sure you've stopped. Done it, please, 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 please. I know it sounds stupid to be talking to the computer, but I've been doing it for a year now, exactly a year. I started doing this on the 17th, so a bit more than a year and 5 days. Oh. Sorry. Okay, so overuse. Over again is doing too much. To overdo. So notice add is to do, outperform, outshine, outdo, to do better, outplay. But over is in excess. Overuse. I've used my muscles too much. Twitching is twitching, like they move involuntarily. Okay, I can't control it. Try and pretend. Pretend is fingir. That's why the pretense is la farsa, no? We are pretending here. Try and pretend is like try to. Okay, try and is try to do something. We've seen this somewhere else. Snap, to snap, normally at someone. To snap at someone is like to lose it. I snapped, no? I snapped is se me fue la cabeza. I snapped. I know I was really angry and I just snapped. Like, se me fue la pinza. Especially for people who have mental issues. Snapped. Okay, having watched, we've seen this. Like 10 in the corner, I think this is in this book somewhere. 10 in the corner, we came to a crossroads. That's when they are driving, in Rebecca, when they are driving to Mandalay. 10 in the corner is al girar. And then when you use, like having 10 the corner, you emphasize that you have already 10 the corner. When you say doing something is at the same time normally. Okay, but having watched is after I have watched it, so that's the past. You appeal to, we've seen this several times. You appeal to, so the crowd like you because you appeal to them. I don't remember if I checked this one. No, yes, I didn't know if it was humorous or humorless. I put humorless, like very serious. Humorless. Okay. Okay, wait, one thing. Humorless can be like this. Humorless can be like this. Or like this, but humorous is only like this. Humorous. To be careful with this. Me included. No, I didn't know. I thought since it was or brutal or eccentric, these are like negative. I thought that they were negative. So normally or and put words together which are the same. So I didn't remember this from a year ago. So I put humorless. I don't know. Okay, so humorous. Positive. Now gain favor. Remember you gain something which is abstract. So I remember it. Come across as, to give the impression is so many things that we've seen. Come across as. Okay. Come across something is fine by chance. Come across as is to give the impression that you are. This is in the B2 book. Appears several times. Unjust. So like unfair, unjust. If you remember that, unjust, unfair. This inversion, not only are you, notice, not only you are, not only are you. Okay. Make something up. Now take your anger out at someone, but normally on. So to remember on. But anyway, I don't remember this one. I put a question mark. So there were more than 3 or 4 that I didn't know. Okay, so I thought of on, so I couldn't think of the one that was used here. And reproachful, like successful, okay, que te reprueba, que te echa algo en cara. Reproach, el reproach es un reproche. Reprochador, reprochante, I don't know in Spanish. Reprochante, reprochante. Anyway, you can learn in Spanish if you want, I don't know. So, next round, I was saying, this is loaded, so many interesting expressions. But anyway, go ahead, try to do it orally. I'm going to give the answers in 3, 2, 1. Let's see, you should try to remember them all after having corrected it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. He has me move around. Is in unit 12 of the other book. To have someone do something. It's like get someone to do something. You have someone do something for you. It's like you do the act. You don't do the action, but you have someone do it for you. So you are the subject, but you are not doing the action. In, okay, remember the preposition for clothes. In, shoes, in the dress. Manageable, remember the spelling? We've seen this recently, I think. Like knowledgeable, manageable. You need the E to pronounce it J. So manageable. You need the adjective, more manageable than. As for, this is an expression you can use in writings. As for, en cuanto a, as for. More in the B2, but as for the email, when you get some direct questions about your city and so on. As for the nightlife, it's great. I can't help but, I can't avoid it. I couldn't help looking at the clock, no, on the Rebecca. Couldn't help it. I can't avoid it. I can't help it. I'm very shy. I can't help being shy. But this I can't help but. Notice, I can't help but, and then it's infinity without to. I can't help but do something. Come by has already appeared. Obtain. Okay. A straw to grasp at. You need to understand the whole expression. This comes from the expression you're grasping at straws. It's like, imagine straws is una paja. Imagine you're about to fall off a cliff, caerte por un acantilado, acantilado, and you are desperately grasping. Like grasping is intentar agarrar algo. Grasping at straws, paja, like grass, no hierba. Obviously, that's not going to help you. If you are 70 kilos, straws are not strong enough to hold you. So when you are desperate, the expression is you are grasping at straws. Okay, so grasp. You can say, I'm sorry, I pronounced it differently. You can say, I've checked it. Grasp, but in American English, very often the sound is a. So much American television living there. Grasp, not grasp. Normally in British English, I should have said grasp. Grasp. So grasping at straws. So a straw to grasp at like something that perhaps I'm desperate, but something that can help. I'm overcome with stage fright. We've seen stage fright, I think, the P2, right, Julia? Last week or the other one? No, not last week because we were doing the tests. The other one, we talked about stage fright. Pánico escénico, and bam, here it is. Overcome is superado. I'm completely overcome. Notice completely, it's an adjective. Overcome, totalmente superado, like overwhelmed. I can't deal with it. I'm overcome. Superado, me siento superado, me supera. Medio escénico. Okay, this one is new. No, did I write? I wrote new. The other one. Okay. There was a gap. There was an empty one. I don't know why. Perhaps I wrote it and then I deleted it accidentally. I don't know. But anyway, this one is new. Tiresome. Okay. Someone who makes you tired. Tired is you are tired or tiring. It's like tiring. Cansina. Tiresome. Clueless. She has no clue. Like she has no clue. She's stupid. Distractive. Okay, from destroy. Distractive, the adjective. Standing room. We've seen this in this book, in the C1 book. Standing room only. It's not standing space. It's a collocation. Standing room only. So it is. There are so many people that you can only stand. You can't sit. So standing room only. Appearance. The spelling of appearance. Unchanged because it hasn't changed. You have changeable, like changeable weather, they can change, but this is, it has remained unchanged. It hasn't changed. Elderly, I put older person. Yeah. Elderly, anciano. An elderly person, or normally you use it with the elderly. We've seen this. I think there was one unit about longevity. Longevity, no? Like life expectation, blue zones or something. You had an ABCD exercise, I think, about longevity. So I think you had something about the elderly, la tercera edad. But yeah, you can say an elderly person. I've seen this. You congratulate someone on B2. Julia, you've just seen this in the exam. Things appear all the time. You see, why do I mention Julia? Because she's doing like 2 groups at the same time. Therefore, the amount of reading that she's doing, or the number of exercises she's doing, is twice as much as you. Therefore, she's more likely to come across coincidences. So she does. And I come across lots of coincidences because I spend lots of time. The other day I went running and I was listening to a podcast to different. It takes an hour, so I listen to 3 programs for 3 hours, or over 3 hours. So obviously I'm going to hear lots of interesting language. Okay, and the survival of the fittest, we've seen this one several times, which is fantastic. So don't complain. It's fantastic because you're more likely to remember. Next round. Last round, go through it. Try to do it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's get down to business. I've told you this one. Let's get down to business. Let's get started. Vamos a ponernos allá. Vamos ahora. Let's stop playing around. Let's get down to business. That's it. Let's get down to resemblance. Resemble is be similar. The resemblance, the noun, is the similarity. It stops there. You can use this one in part 2, part 2 of the speaking, where you compare the pictures. Then you can say the similarity stops there. You can use that. I've had this one in the examples. One of the examples. They are both, but the similarity ends there or stops there. You could use it. If only I were his size, I could include this, but anyway. If only I were, so I wish I were his size. To get away with, to do something like the series. I've started watching it again. The new season has come out on Netflix. How to get away with murder. So not to get the consequences for doing something wrong, or not to suffer the consequences better. Get away with murder. Get away with silence. Silence is osco, I think, like hostile. Silent, like the opposite of friendly. Okay, I rack my brain. I think we've seen this. There was something about brain wave. I don't know if it was in this unit. I don't know if it was here. Rack my brain is estrujarse los sesos. We've seen it somewhere. To rack your brain. I don't know if it was in the podcast. I think it was in the podcast recently. I don't remember. I think it was in the podcast. Rack my brain, estrujarme los sesos. Like trying to remember something. I can't remember. I was racking my brains. Or my brain. Okay. Reassurances. I mentioned this one. When you saw assurances, I said, in the hand games you have reassurances. They were shouting reassurances to him. Okay, so sure, you are sure of something. Assurances is like guarantee. No, assurances like everything's going to be okay. Assurances. So reassurance, I need reassurance. Like you have to guarantee that this is going to work. So to shout reassurances, like to provide a guarantee, like yes, it's okay, don't worry, come on, you can do it. That was very reassuring, reconfortante, like it gives me a lot of comfort and confidence. Okay, so you can obviously make it countable. Reassurances to follow. Remember to follow in Shackleton's footsteps. You had this listening several times because then it appeared in the progress test. This is from the B2. So to follow in someone's footsteps. Seguir los pasos de alguien. And convincing ambiguity. I wrote this one later and I wrote it badly. I put and. Perhaps you didn't realize because you saw that it was the same. So and convincing. Okay, this one was repeated and I deleted it now. Okay, unconvincing. So not very convincing. Unconvincing. Turn someone down, reject. This is in the B2. Remember, move your hand down. When you say no to someone, you move your hand downwards. So you turn them down. Encouragingly. From courage, encourage is animar. Encouraging, que te anima. Encouragingly, de forma que te anima. And work out to have a good result. Again, this is chapter in Unit 8 of the other book, of the B2 book. You have this. You have phrasal verbs with work. So we can work it out. It's somebody Beatles. We can work it out. And that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you've learned as much as I do from doing this. Thank you. Bye.